I want to start this out with a quote by Dan Kennedy. Now, Dan Kennedy is one of the world's best and most respected marketers and marketing educators. And he says that dumb business owners get a customer in order to make a sale. Smart business owners make a sale in order to get a customer. And I hope that makes sense to you, because the focus should be on the customer and not the sale. And here's why. It should be obvious, but a repeat customer is worth so much more than a one-time customer. So let me introduce to you the concept of lifetime customer value. The lifetime customer value is the total amount that a customer is worth to you over the lifetime of their relationship with you and your business. If you have one customer that spends $100 and then never spends anything with you ever again, that customer is worth $100. Well, sort of, but not really, because that's only part of the equation. Because if it costs you $45 to land that customer through your marketing efforts, then that client is really only worth $55 because it cost $45 to get them. And $100 minus $45 is $55. But if you have a customer that spends $100 with you every 6 months for 2 years, that's a total of $400. And I'm going to use this for an easy example, for easy math. So you have $400, but it costs $45 to acquire that customer, and then another $15 every 6 months to maintain that customer through your marketing efforts. Then that customer is worth $310 over the course of those 2 years, rather than $55 for a one-shot deal. So you can see how much better it is to retain the customer. It costs much less to retain a customer than it does to get a new one. So adjusting your mindset to work this way can increase your profit margins, because there is less money spent on your marketing efforts and less time and money spent on educating your customers. Not to mention that your customers will likely refer their friends and their family, and that increase is not included in this calculation of customer lifetime value. At the heart of the sales process lies needs discovery. Needs discovery is where you find out what your customer needs. Now, it sounds pretty obvious, but it's not as intuitive as it may sound. So let's discuss it a little bit. First of all, needs discovery is almost always done during the consultation process. In fact, I wouldn't book a session without finding out exactly what your customer needs. It may seem like common sense, but too many people miss out on this one. So in the sales process, needs discovery is the part of the sales process where you identify the needs of the customer and then tailor your products and services around those needs. So it's all about discovering and identifying needs. Don't assume that you know what your customer needs. Just because all your other customers want a certain thing doesn't mean that this one does, so never assume. So the fastest and most effective way to discover what your customer needs is to ask them questions. You can ask them directly what they need, but that will only get you so far. The best way to discover their needs is to ask open-ended questions and then learn to read between the lines. There's often a few layers of depth beyond the actual words that your customer is using. Part of the needs discovery process is to probe and determine the reasons that the customer isn't even aware of. Also, customers aren't always immediately forthcoming with their needs. They want to tell you, but they'd rather hear you say it because maybe they're just too self-conscious to say it themselves. So if you ask a question and then they mention a result, ask what outcome that result will bring them. That is the result that they're actually looking for. And sometimes it's not even about physical needs. It's often about emotional needs. Keep your eye out for any emotional needs that your customer may be hinting at. Again, it's not always out front. You have to cultivate the art of reading between the lines. And it won't take long before this comes naturally to you. So pay attention to the needs that aren't being met and focus your words on those needs.